Money is on the line today, so I have to win this online tournament, and I'm allowed to use any NCAA football team. I actually ended up using multiple different ones in this video, but there were two main people between me and the $100 cash prize. Junior, the guy that dropped 83 points on me in the RFL playoffs, and Hawkeyes, the YouTuber that normally seems to beat me. I was not thrilled that if Junior and I both won, we could meet in the Elite 8, but the good news is Hawkeyes was on the other side of the bracket, so I could only run into him if I made the championship of this 32-team tournament. It wouldn't be easy to get there because I'd need to win 5 straight, but for this first game, I went with the Ohio State Buckeyes, and I got down to the goal line on the first drive, but CJ Stroud started choking, so it's 4th and goal. I'm gonna go with the play action, and nobody is open, but I'm just gonna run with CJ Stroud, and he is going to get in. I started the game off right, and my defense was also pretty elite, so on 3rd down, all he could do was run with 29-year-old Stetson Bennett, and we shut that down, but I made a mistake by coming out in punt return. I don't trust that he's punting here. There's the fake, and he's gonna try to roll out here. No way, this guy's fast enough. I missed the tackle. You've got to be kidding me. Obviously, I was not happy I let him get that fake, but I still had to get a stop, and I did here. Yet he still decided to go for it on 4th and long, which would have worked out for him if his receiver didn't drop the ball in the end zone, but I was not complaining, and I took full advantage of the situation by delivering a dot with CJ Stroud. The penalty on the play was on him, so I declined it, and this 14-0 lead was a great way to open up. I also have to say, this Ohio State defense was making my opponent freeze up in the pocket, and on 3rd and 19, I'm not worried in the slightest. What's he going to do? I'm using all of that. That's an interception right there. Give it to me! This time, he decided to punt, and if I'm gonna win this $100 tournament, I have to be smart about each possession like I normally am not. I thought I was when I ran the clock and tried to end the half with a touchdown, but I wasted too much time and failed to convert on 2nd and goal, coming away with no points where the game would then freeze. So we went on to play 2 more quarters, and I'd outscore him 10-0 in those 2, putting me into the 2nd round with a 24-0 win. I was 1 step closer to winning the prize money, but my next opponent went with Florida, so I matched him with Miami, and with the way I began this game, you'd think I was ready to get my revenge on Junior in the next round already. Henry Parrish dusted every single Gator defender for a 75-yard touchdown run, and then on his first drive, he tried to use Anthony Richardson's speed, but I was on top of it, so I held my opponent to 3 points, which was massive, and honestly, I wasn't sure if he was going to stop my offense once today, so that might be all it takes to win. On 3rd and goal, I made the right read at the right time, and the halfback screen got boxed up all day. All day, we're on that all day. Defensively, I was covering everything, so I'm not quite sure where he could have even gone here, and after he punted it back to me, I wasted no time finding the end zone again, along with making a great play right after. Pick it. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take that all day. Williams somehow broke like 5 tackles. That was a beautiful lurk right there. I will give my opponent props for not giving up and actually scoring here, but I'd end the first half with another touchdown, and this one was definitely over. I'd end up winning by 28, and unfortunately, the guy that scored 83 on me was still in it. On the other side of the bracket, Hawkeyes also hadn't lost yet, and I switched teams again, going with Georgia against Junior. I will never forget giving up 83 points to this guy during the RFL season, and if I wanted to advance in the tournament so I could win a nice $100, I had to come out moving the ball efficiently, and this is right where I want him. There's no way that he stops that out there. We'll get a nice easy touchdown. That's a nice play, and just like that, we're on the board first. I thought the most difficult part of the game would be stopping him, but Georgia's defense was just built different, and I was so locked in, I barely said a word throughout this entire game, so you'll hear a lot of post-com. I will give him credit for getting me in a lot of 3rd down situations, but I calmly picked those up, and after a long drive of sweating profusely, Brock Bowers caught this touchdown. Even though I was off to a perfect start, I knew it could collapse at any moment, so stuff like this was extremely frustrating. Not only would he make the catch, but the refs would give him an additional 15 yards for a late hit, and that was the 2nd time it had happened already, so I just wanted to get him off the field, but on 3rd and 15, he decided to test my user, and I was just no good as I let him convert instead of intercepting it. However, I continued to apply the pressure, and that led to us getting another sack, which should have meant that he still wouldn't score, but cornerback Keely Ringo dropped the easy pick, and Jake Moody gave him a slight bit of hope. In an ideal world, I would wind down the rest of the clock and go into the half up 21-3, but because Stetson Bennett missed this throw, that plan was a little risky. Still, I was determined to get 7, so I went for it on 4th and 1 and picked it up, but he got ball to start the 3rd quarter, and this is where I made my first mistake as time ran out. Speaking of mistakes, car accidents accidents happen all the time, and you need to know what you would do if you found yourself in one. Obviously, the first thing you have to do is make sure you're okay, and then you need to get a police report and make sure you contact your insurance. But after that, you have got to get legal representation, and that is super easy to do with Morgan & Morgan, because with only 8 clicks on your phone, you're able to submit a claim and have a lawyer review your case. Morgan & Morgan has definitely modernized the injury law process, so if you're ever injured in an accident, know that you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Over 3 million people call them every year in a time of need, because you can submit a claim in 8 clicks or less without having to leave your couch. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Bordeaux or dial pound law, that is pound 529 from your cell phone. And now, let's see if I can finish out this game against Michigan. Unfortunately, to open up the third quarter, my opponent bombed me for a wide open 48-yard touchdown, so all of a sudden, it was just a 3-point game, and I was so nervous of blowing the lead that I had that you can see it all over my face. After a long drive of short gains, I was finally able to get into the end zone, but the game was clearly starting to open up, and that went both ways. Oh, I missed him. And that was a big mistake, as he would get down to the 20-yard line. Within less than a minute, he had scored yet again, so my goal was to burn through as much clock as I could on my next possession, but instead, Kenny McIntosh broke free, and nobody on my opponent's defense could catch up to him. Kenny McIntosh is killing it for us today. That is a huge run. And I was in the driver's seat of this game, but there was still a lot of time left where he could pull off a comeback. Every single time I got him to a third down situation, he made the right read to pick it up, but on this 3rd and inches, that was finally not true, and then this happened next. What on earth is he doing? What is he doing? What is he doing? We got him! We stopped him! Did he really think he was gonna fake me out with that? That's crazy. And I was so glad he went with a fake instead of a quarterback sneak, because I was able to get the last clutch stop I needed, as even though he would hold me to get a chance and the ball back, Georgia's defense was locking everybody up, leaving nobody open in man-to-man. And that's game. That is going to be game. 244 yards for Kenny McIntosh. And I was on to the final 4, but so was Hawkeyes on the other side of the bracket. At this point, I had to use Georgia again because they got me a win over the toughest opponent I had faced yet. And I'm going for it on 3rd down from the start. He's going to shoot that gap. So I was stuck on 4th and 2 already, but fortunately I converted and I got us all the way down to 1st and goal, but then I turned the ball over, which felt like something I hadn't done in forever. Stetson Bennett luckily made a clutch tackle and I couldn't believe my read. I cannot believe I just threw that ball. And it was a dumb mistake, but it was still early in the game and he would make one of his own. There it is. That's a beautiful interception. I knew he was going to probably throw it in that direction, and I'm glad that Smith made a play on it. With those interceptions, we had both gotten rid of our pregame nerves, and I handed it off for an easy 6, but he was extremely quick to respond back as Quinn Ewers put this throw perfectly on the money to Jordan Whittington, so I reminded myself that anything he can do, I can do better, and I did the exact same thing to him with this play. That put the pressure on my opponent to score again, but his corner routes weren't creating any separation, so I had an opportunity to wind down the clock and end the half up by 2 possessions, which this time I was finally able to do. Besides that pick 6 on the goal line, I've played pretty well, but I should have never said anything because on 3rd and goal from far out, he delivered a dot, and I knew that if I wanted to make the championship, I had to lock in, but this is what that looks like for me. All I'm gonna say is you're not gonna find anybody else making elite reads quite like this, and I was trying my hardest to literally fumble the bag. Time and time again though, he would make throws straight into my defense, and I cannot believe I was able to get back to that ball. Now that I've made it inside field goal range, I should probably just try to kill off as much clock as I can. And on 3rd and 5, I would have gotten a touchdown, but Stetson Bennett decided to sail it, so I just had to take my field goal instead, and my opponent would have had a chance to stay in the game either way, but that made the odds of a comeback more likely, especially since I insisted on giving up big plays to him every time I got him to 3rd down. He ended up scoring with about a minute and a half left in the game, and he didn't even have to go for the onside kick as he still had 2 timeouts left. Instead of running though, I tried to fake him out, and this probably should have been an interception, but it wasn't, and then I did this. I'm going with the speed option to the outside. I don't know if it's going to be there, but I'm going to pitch it anyway, and McIntosh, please be fast enough. He's going to break a tackle. That's going to be game. I did just enough to make the championship, and of course, it was me versus Hawkeyes. The 2 YouTubers had ended up making the huge tournament final, and since the Bulldogs got me here, I had to stick with them, which seemed to be the right decision as I was able to get onto the board first with this beefy receiving core. But but Hawkeyes responded back like this. Sack him! Sack him! Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me! I was so annoyed with how he scored that when he got me to 4th and 10, I didn't even hesitate to fake it, which somehow worked, and that got the offense going again. Okay, go McIntosh. Go McIntosh, swerve in there, let's go! I could only remain happy for a short period of time though, because somehow he was able to score here, and now it felt like whoever got the first stop would win the championship. Also, if you've never seen a blocked extra point before in NCAA football, it happened here, and if that's the thing that causes me to lose, I'm gonna be very frustrated. With 11 seconds left in the half, Hawkeyes was very close to scoring, but my defense held strong on the goal line, so I assumed he would kick a field goal, and I couldn't believe it, but he went for it instead, which almost worked for him, but the pass was dropped, and I went into the half up by 6. However, to start the third quarter, he would score an easy touchdown to go up 1, so that wasn't ideal, but I wasted no time doing the same. I even got the 2-point conversion to make up for the blocked extra point, and then on my next defensive possession, I did what needed to be done. Sack him, pick him, pick it, perfect, we got him into the interception. Come on, get into the end zone here, let's go, that was a great decision to go cover 3. I've been doing man-to-man every single play. I switched it up one time and he made a mistake. And considering I forced a sack on his next offensive snap, I was in a great mood. Now Hawkeyes is a good player, so he would immediately pick up the long second down anyways, and later in that drive he would score again, showing that he was determined to come back. He even got me to a 4th and 5, which he honestly should have gotten a stop on, but I will take getting bailed out because I was so close to winning, and one last goal line stop on him would seal the deal as I won the 32-team tournament and took home the prize money.